The future of cars is a captivating topic. I was just at the Orange County Auto Show to see the latest and greatest from the car manufacturers. Here's everything that I found that piqued my curiosity. Hello and welcome everybody to the Curbside Corner, where I obsess about cars so you don't have to. And today we're talking about everything that piqued my curiosity at the Orange County Auto Show. But before we get started in this video, if you could please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It would mean the absolute world to me. Now let's get started into this video. And moving into the first topic of this video is something that I found very captivating and interesting, and that is Kia is moving towards just becoming more and more of a stylish car brand, and Hyundai in general is just becoming more and more stylish and really working on itself to make itself known as a car manufacturer that doesn't just make boring cars, but they actually make cars that are captivating and almost borderline cool, that I would say. As someone who remembers a time when Kia wasn't seen as being a very stylish option or really being a car that anyone would want to purchase outside very entry-level buyers, Kia has completely stepped up the game. I think ever since, to be honest, since Kia came out with the Optimum refresh years and years ago, I think that Kia has been having great and fantastic amounts of momentum moving forward to make their cars just genuinely better and nicer than its competition. Yes, they have to cut corners in some places or the cars would be extremely expensive, but I think it's awesome to see that you see Hyundai and you see Kia, and what Kia is doing right now is just really focusing on the styling, and they're just trying to build that momentum to make the car a very stylish and usable car, both with their SUVs and also their sedans. Also, I will say something I'm really excited for that's going to be coming out in the future is the Kia K4, which is going to be a hatchback style of their current K series sedans, which another topic that I've been talking about, and I'll put some links in the description about those types of cars. But I think that sedans are dying, and it's really sad to see that sedans are dying, and a lot of manufacturers are just either completely giving up on sedans or really limiting the amount of sedans that they have because people just aren't buying sedans. So it's awesome to see that Kia is still working on building sedans and also just continuously building stylish cars. But honestly, I think that Kia is really making big splashes with its styling, and I think honestly, if Kia can keep up this momentum for a few more years and keep building brand identity and just keep building great looking cars, but then they're also going to have to work on the mechanical side. If Kia can get that mechanical side right and with the stylish, I really think that Kia, and especially Hyundai in general, will become a car that's very competitive and very nice compared to the competition, especially the Japanese market competition. But I would love to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts about Kia? Do you think that Kia is something that people should consider? Do you think it's more of just an entry-level car? Do you think that they could ever reach the levels of a Toyota or a Honda? Let me know in the comments down below. And moving into our second topic is something that's becoming more and more apparent every single year and every year that I go to car shows, and that is SUVs and crossovers are just completely taking over the market. And it's not just because sedans are dying, people don't want to drive sedans. I do think that's a big issue. I think people just want to drive SUVs. I think it comes down to price. In the past, there used to be a big difference between a entry-level SUV and an entry-level sedan, and a mid-level and a high-tier level sedan versus an SUV. But nowadays, with the average car price hovering around $40,000 for both sedans and SUVs, crossovers, it's becoming to the point where for most individuals that just need to haul stuff, just need to, move throughout the day and just have a nice, comfortable commuter car, it doesn't make any sense for someone to purchase a sedan when it costs the same amount of money as an SUV. And people are just going to keep picking SUVs and crossovers over sedans if at the end of the day, the prices just aren't competitive, because at the end of the day, if you're spending $35,000, $40,000 for a new car, why would you want to purchase a sedan that has limited uses versus an SUV or crossover? There's a lot more uses for just the day-to-day driver. But at the end of the day, that's a question that's not for myself, but it's for the car brands out there, is what's going to be the future of sedans? Also, something that I find really interesting is that a lot of car brands and car manufacturers are starting to put hybridization as the top tier choice for these crossovers and also SUVs. I think as someone who had to deal with this when I was in high school, a lot of my friends would have these SUVs with tiny engines in them, so they wouldn't be going very fast, and you would somehow not go fast but also get really poor gas mileage. Into now, they're moving so much more towards hybridization, which is what I think a lot of people want when they purchase cars. Especially, they want something that is as easy as filling up with gas, but then you get fantastic gas mileage. I think that EVs are still the future, but it's way out there. But it's awesome to see that a lot of car manufacturers, especially someone like Mazda, who is bringing in the SUV platform but making hybridizations throughout the cars, which is making it a very competitive option. But I would love to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts? Would you rather have an SUV versus a sedan? And to make it even more complex, would you rather have a sedan hybrid, or would you rather have a crossover SUV hybrid? Would love to hear your thoughts down below. And moving into our next topic is something that I found awesome to see, and I finally got to sit inside and finally get to film an Acura ADX. As someone who has high hopes for Acura, and I really think that Acura is turning the corner. I think they really have a chance to just keep building momentum. Yes, they're not going to be like Lexus. They're not going to be like the big players out there. But I think that they're starting to build a little bit more momentum, especially in the crossover SUV market. I finally got to see up close the Acura ADX, and I was genuinely very impressed with the car. Something that I found super interesting is that, yes, it does have a lot of similarities to the HRV, the Honda HRV, but it is a very luxurious car. When you sit in that car, you can definitely see why this car is substantially more expensive than the Integra, but also the Toyota HRV. I think it's a very good entry-level crossover small SUV car to get yourself into the market of the luxury car market. But I will say I didn't get a chance to drive the ADX, and based on all the reviews I've seen out there, a lot of people don't like the drivetrain. They think it's too slow because the car is too heavy. And as someone who got to sit in the car has a lot of amenities. So it makes total sense for someone to think that it's a little bit too heavy, a little bit too big. But I will say I'm very impressed with the Acura ADX, and it makes total sense why it's selling so well, because you get that crossover SUV feel, but it's also luxurious, and it's under the Honda brand, so you know it's going to be a reliable car. And it also has a very underpowered engine, especially with how big the car is starting to get, but it's a very reliable engine. So would love to see if Honda could maybe turn the ADX into a hybrid. If they could do that, and I think you have to first see if they'll even do it with the Honda HRV, but if they do it to the Honda HRV, they make a hybrid version, I could definitely see the ADX becoming a fantastic car, because it's a crossover, a little bit of a SUV, small entry-level SUV, but then at the same time too, you get that extra level of hybridization, so you get that torque, but also it makes it a little bit more fun to drive. I think the ADX is almost there. I think it's about 75% there, but I would love to pass the question off to you. Have you driven an ADX? Do you think it's a little bit slow? Do you like the ADX? Let me know in the comments down below. And in summary, the OC Auto Show is always significantly smaller than the LA Auto Show, especially with the type of cars that are brought out and the manufacturers that come out to those car shows. But honestly, there was a lot of cars that I really found interest with, and I think that there's a few cars that I'm really excited for, and a few brands to see what they look like in 2026, 2027, and in the future. But I would love to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts about the OC Auto Show? Did you attend it? Let me know if you saw anything there that you would find of interest to talk about in the comments down below. But as always, my name is Eric. Thank you so much for pulling up to the curb, and let's keep talking cars.